Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Today, I'm making my predictions for the event of NXT Stand and Deliver 2023 from Los Angeles. Here we go. So, fatal five-way match for the North American Championship. Wesley versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom. Now, out of those five, who would be ready? Because the thing is, who would be ready to go to the main roster? Because the thing is, for NXT Stand and Deliver, it's already NXT is difficult to predict. When it comes to Stand and Deliver, it's even harder to predict because you don't know what are the plans for WWE after WrestleMania. Because there's a lot of call-ups after WrestleMania from NXT. So a lot of times the wrestlers that lose at Stand and Deliver go up to the main roster. So that's why it's very, very tough to predict what's going to happen, the results of the matches for NXT Stand and Deliver. Now, who in there is ready for the main roster? I would say JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov, but they're both kind of small, and I don't think they would thrive in the main roster right now. Wesley, same thing. Axiom, same thing. And Dragon Lee is too new. He just signed with with WWE. He's with NXT, and they need to establish him. So one thing that could happen is Dragon Lee wins the title to send a wave, a shock wave. That's the word I was looking for. And ironically, just a point out of context, I used one of my tag team names used to be Shockwave. So when I was wrestling with uh, what was his name again, Blaze. So when I used to wrestle with Blaze, our tag team name was Shockwave. So, well, to send a shockwave through NXT, Dragon Lee would be the winner. Now, other thing, Wesley, if they want to keep him as a champion, would win this game, would win this match, and that would be a huge boost for him. But the thing is, the dark horse in there is Axiom, who has had some opportunities, and he couldn't quite win the big one. And I think that this match will be either Wesley winning and retaining, or I think it will be Axiom. I think Axiom is going to win this match. That's a long shot, but if they want to give him something significant, I think they're going to make him win the NXT uh, North American Championship. But it's either him or Wesley retaining. But I'm going with Axiom. So Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. Now, Johnny Gargano is on Raw. He came down in NXT to face Grayson Waller at NXT Stand and Deliver. And that's just to revisit the storyline they had maybe a year ago or close to a year ago when Grayson Waller injured Johnny Gargano, which was basically a way for Johnny to leave WWE while Candice was giving birth to their child. So that's just a way to have for Johnny to have payback on Grayson Waller. But what does Johnny Gargano have to win in this match against Grayson Waller. Maybe retribution, but credibility wise, storyline wise, he's got nothing to win there. So that's why I think that Grayson Waller will win the match, because that will elevate him as maybe a main event player, which he did. He did elevate himself as a main event player when he wrestled Braun Breaker. But that's going to elevate him even more, because he's going to beat a Triple Crown champion. Because I think Grayson Waller didn't have a title yet in NXT. I'm not sure, because I stopped following NXT for a while, and I came back a couple of months ago to prepare to do NXT videos for after WrestleMania. Probably. I'll see. So, but I think it's Grayson Waller that's going to win this match, because he has the most to gain in there. So Grayson Waller is my pick. So NXT Tag Team Championship match. Gallus versus the Creed Brothers versus Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo. Now, Gallus are main roster ready. Creed Brothers, Julius is, but I don't think Brutus is there quite yet. And Tony and D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo are not ready for the main roster. Not even close. Even for now, anyway, they're not ready for that. So the logical choice would be to have Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo winning the match, because maybe the Creeds and Gallus are going to go up, which I won't think is the case. I think Gallus will go to the main roster after WrestleMania. So I expect them to lose. So I think the Creed brothers have won tag team gold in the past. They went through a hard time recently, and that would be a good story to have them go back on top of the mountain, of the tag team mountain. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think the Creed brothers are going to win the tag team titles at Stand and Deliver, unless In the Share interferes to get this feud going again. But I think the Creeds are going to win, and then In the Share are going to go after them for the titles. But we'll see. So the Creed brothers are my pick on this match. So NXT Women's Championship ladder match. Six-way ladder match. Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez, and Indy Hartwell. Now, again, it's a matter of who's ready for the main roster, who's not, what they want to do. Now, the storyline of Roxanne Perez getting collapsing in the ring after her match with Meiko Satomura makes it for a comeback story for this match. Coming back from injury, defending the title, and successfully defending it is what I think is going to happen. Because I think they want to build Roxanne Perez as an incredible underdog that overcomes the odds all the time to keep the title. And I think that's what's going to happen there. Gigi Dolan is not going to win the title, because when JC Jane comes back, she's going to have a big feud against her, and whoever comes out on top of that will get a crack at the title after that. Zoe Stark is main roster bound. There's no question in my mind. She's main roster bound. Indy Hartwell, same thing, but Indy won't get title shots right now on the main roster. And my dark horse in there is Tiffany Stratton. I think they view big things for Tiffany Stratton in WWE, but maybe she's going to get into a feud with Roxanne Perez over the title after Stand and Deliver, a one-on-one feud. But I don't think she's going to win the title there. And Lyra Valkyria, very good, very good persona, good, everything is good there. And I think they will want to establish her more before giving her the title. That's what I think. So look for Roxanne Perez to retain the title at Stand and Deliver. So the Schism versus Tyler Bate and Chase U. Thea Hale, Duke Hudson, and Andre Chase. Since maybe a month, Duke Hudson and Andre Chase seem to have some friction, and I think it's all gonna come down at Stand and Deliver, and I think on Duke Hudson will betray Chase U during this match, and the Schism is gonna win the match because of that. That's my prediction. Now, what will happen there? I think in the coming weeks after that betrayal from Duke Hudson, it's going to happen this afternoon. I think it's going to happen this afternoon. I'm not in the plans. I don't know what the plans are in advance. That's what my gut is telling me right now. Duke Hudson is going to betray Chase U. And then in the coming weeks, you're going to see that it was all planned in advance between Duke Hudson and the Schism to destroy Chase U. Because the stipulation is whoever wins gets control of Chase U. So Duke Hudson will have planned the Schism with the Schism to betray Chase U. And then in exchange for the betrayal, the Schism gets control of Chase U. And guess who would control Chase U after? Duke Hudson. That's what I think the storyline is going. So that's my prediction. We'll see if it happens. That's the twist I see, that Duke Hudson will take control of Chase U because of his betrayal with the Schism. The Schism would control Chase U, but in reality, it would be Duke Hudson that would be taking over Chase U. Anyway, we'll see, but that's what my gut is telling me. We'll see if that's really what's going to happen. So NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Now, the storyline between Fallon Henley and Kiana James over Brooks Jensen is all gonna break down at Stand and Deliver. They don't give the title shot to Isla Dawn and Alba Fire for nothing. I think that they're gonna win. They're gonna win the NXT Tag Team Women's Tag Team Championship, and Fallon Henley and Kiana James tag team is gonna fall apart, and they're gonna go in a big feud between them after WrestleMania, after Stand and Deliver, because all of the love triangle, Kiana James with Brooks Jensen story there, everything's gonna breakup after that, and something's going to happen. That's for sure. I'm curious to see where this is going to go, but it's all going to. It's got unless they want to keep Henley and James defending the titles while all the storyline is going with the jealousy, with the two timing, the, whatever it is. Maybe they will want to keep the titles on Henley and James while all this is going, but I don't think so. I think they want this to be a separate story and put the straps on Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. So Alba Fire and Isla Dawn will be your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So NXT Championship match, Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, this match, here's my prediction. Whoever loses is going to the main roster. Simple as that. Whoever loses is going to the main roster. So, who's winning? Well, I think Carmelo Hayes wins the title because I think they want to build him as the new face of NXT until they think he is ready for the main roster. There's no doubt about that. The guy is incredible in the ring. He has charisma. He has a lot of the tools, but he's a small guy. So they need to build his credibility as a wrestler before putting him in the main roster. They did that with Gargano, and will Gargano ever be the world heavyweight champion? I don't know. But they need to build up Carmelo Hayes even more than he is right now before bringing him up to the main roster. So that's why I think Carmelo Hayes will be the new NXT champion after Stand and Deliver, and look for Braun Breaker to go up to the main roster and even change name to Steiner. I think they will bring him in the main roster as a Steiner. So we'll see. But Carmelo Hayes will win the NXT championship at Stand and Deliver. So that's it for my predictions. I will come back in the right after Stand and Deliver. I will come back to make my predictions for WrestleMania Saturday, and I'll come back to make my WrestleMania Sunday predictions tomorrow. So enjoy Stand and Deliver. If you're not watching it, well, you're gonna miss something. So until then, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, leave a comment, and of course, if you know people that love wrestling that would love to see these kind of analysis and predictions and things like that, well, introduce them to the channel later on. See you later.